director of Golden Spurtle. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Great to be.
Yes, I hear you just came to Edinburgh via Sydney. So
that's right. Yeah, a short trip, and yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Well, and your film is very much about Scotland.
Yeah.
So, and I really, really loved the fact that it portrays a small town and in almost its entirety, but getting ready for the big festival that comes in every year. That's very important. So, why did you pick this town in particular, and how did you even find out about it?
Yeah, I think the village was just screaming out to be documented, really.
Yeah.
I mean, it's such a picturesque, gorgeous place full of like hilarious, charming locals. So what's not to love? But I mean, we follow an Australian competitor in the film, Toby Wilson. So he told us about this competition, and I just sort of went on my own, largely unannounced, and was knocking on doors and met Charlie Miller, who we follow in the competition, who's the chieftain of the event, and was completely enamored not only by the joyful absurdity of making a porridge competition happen year after year, but also a deeper story about legacy and how do you spend your years when you're older, and how do you use your time. And so I think we found this Trojan horse of a porridge competition to maybe express something a bit deeper about what do you do with your remaining years.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think Charlie specifically is such a absolutely lovely character and such a great sort of main protagonist. And so how did you get him to sort of agree to be so widely focused on in this film?
Yeah, I mean, so Charlie and I really I did I think about 3 or 4 trips in total to Carrbridge, and Charlie and I developed quite a close bond. I mean, when I first met him, again, I just knocked on his door off the back of like a fleeting email. And I remember he was sitting there with me, and he had a cup of tea on one knee and a biscuit on the other, and kind of leaned in his dry Scottish accent and said to me, what are your intentions? And I was like, well, Charlie, we'll just kind of build this together. And we went in with a spirit of collaboration, made it very clear that we weren't interested in taking the mickey out of people, and not sort of like, we wanted to laugh with people, not at people. And so I feel like Charlie definitely developed an instinct for what we were going to do, because in a way he's kind of an artist himself. He uses this porridge competition as his canvas to create something really special and exciting. And so I think in a way it felt like I was almost co-directing it with the village and with Charlie at the same time. And that way we were able to develop a rapport, and he was so kind of up for anything. So it was a joy.
Yeah, and I love those moments when you're sharing the different people in the town, where kind of like the before they start, so you kind of get that the small town. I don't know, it's just very it makes it feel very natural, I feel. And everyone seemed to have, which I've experienced living in Scotland,
Right.
a great pride for their town and sort of their history and sort of, and the culture that comes with that.
Yeah, completely. And I mean, I think part of the joy as well was us being a mainly Australian team as well. So these kind of outsiders rocked up, and I think people were really like willing to open their doors and to, as you say, to share what they're proud about their village and what they do. So it was actually kind of like we spent half of our time at the pub having cups of tea in people's houses as much as we did making a film. And I think that kind of hopefully shines through in the film, that it has this sort of gentle intimacy to the whole thing, which I think is kind of special.
Absolutely. And you could tell what you said with your tone. You had a really strong rapport with the whole, with everyone. I did notice you picked a few people out. I mean, obviously the Australian taco chef, but I know Tracy a bit from me, because of other events that we've done in Edinburgh. So I recognized her pug. And so I loved that. But how did you choose sort of like some of the other characters? I think particularly the London, character, it was quite fun as well.
Yeah, I mean, so that's right. We couldn't track everybody. About 30 people entered the competition, and it's credit to Rebecca Lamond, the producer, who kind of went through everybody and had a very strong instinct for who was going to be interesting and who we wanted to follow. The great sort of gift from the porridge gods across the film was that so many people we followed made it to the final. Like we obviously had no control over who's going to make the final round, and we were very sort of, it was kind of like a great happenstance that so many of the people that we followed from the very beginning made it to the final round, and that was kind of perfect in a way.
Yeah, we were very happy with the winner, I think.
And yeah, what a perfect person to win the competition as well. You know, again, a kind of an outsider, but I think also someone who speaks the enduring power of community and tradition, and it doesn't matter who you are, where you come from, you can participate in something like this.
Absolutely. So you've had it at CPH Docs. What was that the world premiere? Or?
That was the world premiere.
Right, okay. And then it's been in Sydney as well.
And Melbourne.
Yeah, so how do you feel about bringing it to Scottish audiences?
Well, this is the fear, isn't it? That, you know, it's like, oh my goodness, we're these outsiders kind of depicting something that people know so intimately and cherish so much. But I think overall I'm excited because I think, you know, it's, again, we had nothing but adoration and love for the community that we showcase. So it's kind of nice to sort of, to kind of, to share it with local audiences. So I'm sure we'll have a different response, you know, with all of the in-jokes and maybe a few things that would go over an Australian or a Danish audience's head. I think there's a lot of kind of like tongue-in-cheek glint in their eye that maybe a Scottish audience will have a stronger instinct for.
Oh, completely. I totally feel that way. But I also think it was the way you shot it was I love the 4:3 sort of aspect, and it really brought a beauty to, you know, maybe, I mean, it's obviously a beautiful land, but but it gives it this sort of extra special presence with sense of like nostalgia mixed together. So I think everything, it heightens the, you know, the experience as well. So
completely. I mean, this was the thing in sort of going for quite a unique visual style with these locked off, very sort of painterly compositions. And Dimitri, the cinematographer, and I were just very keen on reflecting how we felt about the village and how we saw it in this sort of, as you say, nostalgic, painterly, almost like a picture book kind of energy that, you know, that aesthetic was just led from the village itself. We didn't really go in with an imposed idea of how we wanted to shoot it. It just felt like the best way of capturing the spirit of the place.
Yeah, great. And so it's premiering here in Edinburgh, but it will be distributed across the UK, correct?
That's right, yeah. So the wider release in the UK is the 12th of September.
Well, thank you so much for taking your time. It was really lovely, and we really loved your film.
Cheers, thanks, Amanda.
Saturday is the 7th. And welcome to Porridge Day.